Hello, I'm Dom, and welcome to me documenting my journey as I build and monetize an app. In this part, I want to talk about user flows and user experience. Now, I'm building an app for people who are building apps, which doesn't really make much sense, so I'm going to have to explain myself. Over the last year, I've spoken to close to 1,000 software developers and engineers. And many of those folks are looking to build and monetize their own app. However, they get stuck on making good go to market and product decisions. And this is from not having enough user insights. And that's happened because they haven't talked to enough people. And that's happened because, well, they kind of just don't want to. Anyway, that's the problem I want to solve. But the bigger picture is I want to help build an independent tech culture. That's kind of my mission. I look at the indie gaming scene and I'm like, man, there's such an ecosystem. Like just obviously there. People get it. People are like, yeah, independent gaming, we absolutely love it. So right now I help a lot of developers and engineers by talking about go to market, products, brand awareness, all this stuff outside of writing code, basically. And I can do that here on my YouTube, absolutely. I do it on my TikTok, I do it on my LinkedIn, I do it in a whole bunch of other spaces, but explaining can only get me so far. Therefore, I've decided, do you know what? Why don't I just do it and explain every single step of the journey? And this is what this is. So I've just come from doing some market testing in the previous video. And in this one, I'm going to talk about, will people adopt this user experience? Now, step one, just remove everything from your brain that you believe to be user experience. We're going to go through some explanations of user flow and things, but let's not have any preconceptions just yet. My hypothesis is that the folks I'm trying to build for, they're at point A and they can't make a decision for their app right now. That's because they haven't talked to enough people. What I have to do is to transition them to a point B where they have the user insights they need. They're able to make confident decisions about their product and how they're going to get it into people's hands. So what I can do is facilitate that flow today in a form that is appropriate to where I'm at. Now, I could build a SaaS platform, but that's going to be a lot of time, effort, and money. I could build a small application, and there's a little bit less time, effort, money, but it's a lot to spend. Or I could just hold their hand and just take them on that journey and take them down that path and explain every step. And that's going to be very low time, effort, and money. It's not scalable, but the point of what I'm trying to work out is, do people even want to complete this flow? Right? If I put this in front of them and they're just like, I don't want to do it, that's fine. Better to learn now than after I've built an entire application and infrastructure and all the rest of it. And this is the point. As I have no validation, then I'm going to want to spend the least possible on time, effort, money, because anything more I spend is going to be highly risky. And it's something I'm going to spend that I'm going to get nothing back from. So how does that hand-holding look so far? Well, I could build... I've built a small web app for scraping online communities for better results in LLMs. I actually ran a workshop and that got booked out, like fully booked out. It was kind of a big signal, that one. I've also done a paid course online, which is how to find your future customers and talk to them. I'm just doing a bit of outreach for that. Now, I haven't sold one, but there is definitely a lot of interest around it. So I'm going to continue doing that. It might not give me any results for a few more weeks. I've also done some webinars just talking about, conducting user interviews, finding people and all that kind of stuff. And that's always brought people in. And then I've just got my mentoring, right? I'm just pretty much close touch point, holding their hand, getting them to that place where they're talking to folks. And what I've learned from it is that there is this leaning towards, we kind of want it done for us, but we're not entirely sure if we trust the output. And that's an interesting question, but I need to dig into it more and learn some more. So this can be useful to you. If you're going out and you're looking to build, monetize an app and looking to become a new founder, this is something you want to take on board. And there are 3 principles that I want you to understand of how you can determine if a user flow is wanting to be fulfilled. Because fundamentally, if you can't simply fulfill that user flow, there's no amount of implementation that's going to get people to fulfill that user flow. So, number 1, user experience is more than pixels on screen, components, layouts, buttons, forms, whatever else. It's how people feel completing the flow. So again, go back down to point A, point B, right? Point A could be my house is messy, and point B is my house is clean. Now I could complete the flow by cleaning it myself. I can complete the flow by paying someone to clean it for me. I can complete the flow by paying somebody to go find somebody to clean it for me. Or I can complete that flow by using an app to get somebody, to facilitate the person coming to clean my house. All those things are the exact same A and B, but they're very different user experiences. And how I feel about them determines how much I'm willing to engage and how much I'm willing to spend at the end. Principle number 2 is that effort is directly proportional to validation, right? So if you've got high validation, you're like, I know for certain people are going to buy into this, then you justify doing a lot of work. Now, if you have very little validation, and right now I have close to 0, so therefore the effort is very low. Anything above that line is risk. Now, you can build with risk, absolutely. But in the long term, it's going to cost you more time, effort, and money. Do you have those things? Well, if you're watching this video, probably not. So that's why you have to stay on the validation effort line. And principle number 3, as you are early on in your journey and you have no validation and you have no product and you have all of these things swirling around, you're trying to figure out what am I supposed to be doing. The core goal right now is to facilitate people to complete the flow. That's your focus. And you will have lots of distractions, right? There's lots of distractions today. Go buy a Mac Mini and install OpenClaw and completely automate your business. The latest playbook has just hit tech Twitter for new tech startups, right? There's this brand new tool that's just come onto the market, right? There's going to be so many distractions, but fundamentally your business cannot exist if you cannot facilitate people getting from point A to point B. And it might be the case that they just don't want to do it. And that just happens. But find that out cheap, cheap and quick and without much effort. That's what you want to get to. So a bit of a to-do for you. You can practice this. First of all, just break down user experiences to point A and point B. Right. So if you're using the Uber app, right, point A is that I'm physically, at home. Point B is I'm physically somewhere else. But you can get into more details, right? And when you get more specific in things, you start realizing interesting questions come out of it. So it might be a case of you're not just doing point A, point B. It could be, I'm at the pub, it's 2 a.m, it's cold, I want to go home, I want to go to bed, right? That's my point A. Point B is that I'm home, I'm in bed, ready to sleep. Okay, so get more specific. It really helps you answer bigger questions. Practice with app ideas, the subreddit. Go to the subreddit and find some ideas, and you'll find a lot of them are kind of bad ideas. When you can't really point out what's point A and point B, you suddenly ask very big questions about, well, what is this for? But go in there and find some and say, right, okay, well, what's point A, what's point B, and what could be the lowest effort way of completing the flow? And lastly, what you can do is just list out your strengths. Now, when you look at the way that I've facilitated complete the flow for this project of building an app for people who are building apps, I do a lot of webinars, workshops, talking to people, getting engaged, but that's because those are my strengths, right? I'm good at talking. I'm good at doing this presentation stuff. I'm good at just blurting things out for 10 minutes. I could probably do it for 45 minutes and it wouldn't bother me. So, but it might be different for you. What your thing might be good is like, I'm good at writing documentation, right? It might be good. It might be a case of I'm good at creating animated tutorials. I don't know, right? But what are you good at? Because sometimes that might actually define how you deliver a solution, but also what type of problem you solve. If you're really good at writing documentation, then solving a documentation problem is really suited to you. So doing all these three things will give you a lot of practice for any endeavor that you're looking to go forward with for an app that you want to build and monetize. And thank you for watching. You can find me at ChuffDom in all of the places, but also on LinkedIn as well. I'm on LinkedIn way too much, to be honest. But I hope this helps. And if you have anything else you need to know, then you can pop me down a comment. I'll be happy to answer it. But for now, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.